So obviously I have to ask, how was your experience being at KDVS recording here?
For the first time being in a live room, I think it was dope. Very soundproof in here. Everything sounded good for sure.
For sure. I noticed in one of your songs, you guys kind of said something about it's Sacramento, it's not the Bay Area. So how is it being like an artist in Sacramento? What makes it unique?
It's definitely different, being from the capital. Um, we just have an undefined sound, if that makes sense. With the Bay Area, they kind of have a sound. Mac Dre, E40, the Too Short, Loonies, they have a sound. LA has a sound, from NWA to Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. But Sacramento is kind of still finding its identity. So it's definitely different, And I live in New York part time now, so anytime I tell people I'm from Sacramento, they're like, "Oh, from the Bay, right?" I'm like, "Nah, not quite." You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely different.
Is that kind of nice so that Sacramento is finding its sound because you can kind of explore more? Do you feel that?
I think so. I mean, Sacramento does have a sound. I won't say that. You have but Sacramento's like defined by gangster rap. So you got like Brotha Lynch, you got Sibo, you got T Nutty, now you have Mozzie. Like it's one sound really. And for artists like myself who does more hip hop, more storytelling, more like reality based rap, it's a little bit harder to catch, I would say, out here.
Right.
I've been able to do a great job in New York over the past 6 months, but it's like being out here is different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we kind of have to blend that sound in a little bit. You know what I mean? But for the most part, we try to stay true to what we do.
Yeah. I noticed, like you said, you put a lot of like your story and how you grew up and like how you're raising your kid now.
Yeah.
Is that something that you usually always try to include in your music?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it is. Like, our music would kind of be defined as reality rap. So with that, you kind of have to talk about everything that's going on. Like, especially with the last song, I kind of broke down some more personal things. My grandma passing away. At the time when I did that song, my dad was sick. He actually passed away now, too. So
I'm sorry to hear
it's
that.
like, I got to raise my son right. That's just, something I felt like other people going through similar situations would gravitate to.
Yeah, for sure.
Almost like therapy in a way.
Yeah.
Without paying $150 an hour.
For sure. Well, speaking of your son, I saw him in there. Does he have any like musical influences that you've noticed?
I haven't noticed anything so far. He's kind of in the Roblox and math, He's a gay kid. He's super smart.
Yeah.
So I just try to push him in whatever direction he wants to go in. But so far, he hasn't gravitated towards music at all.
Does he care that you're making music and that you're here recording? Does he like know?
No, he only cares that he can't search Nash Boogie's son on YouTube. That's all he cares about. He said, when I type in Nash Boogie's son, nothing comes up. And I'm like, you're not at the shows. You want to sit in the room when we're performing. No one's going to know who you are if you don't do that. So hopefully he come out his shell soon.
Yeah. Yeah, next album he'll be featured.
Right,
sure.
Hopefully. Drake got his son on an album. I'm working on getting mine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for you guys, like, how is it making the music for the raps? Like, do you guys ever have like creative differences, or like how do you guys work together in terms of playing live?
Yeah. We do have creative differences from time to time, but for the most part, we're usually on the same page. Like with this specific project we just did, I actually own a recording studio in Sacramento, but for that project we decided to go to LA and do trips and record out there. So we kind of had a rule. We had a bunch of producers and artists come in, but nobody could bring anything from home. You had to create on the spot. So everything that's on the album we created in the session, from beats to rhymes to hooks, everything we did within those 8-hour sessions.
That's super cool. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the album? Like what's on it, a little bit of sneak peeks, kind of what were your influences?
For this album, Terps and Hash Holes, it's more of like a West Coast based album. We tried to channel some of the earlier hip hop that we grew up on and then mix it with some of the new stuff that's going on. But it was very like, we were going for a West Coast sound with this project. My project before this, Agenda 21, was more like hip hop, backpack, conscious. So I just wanted to give people a different sound on this one.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have like any influences within Sacramento that are notable for you?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to Brotha Lynch. I listened to a little bit of Sebo. There was a cat named Gangsta Dre. You remember Gangsta Dre from around the way? Marv Mitch and LeMay. Marvelous. But for me, I always gravitated, I would say, to East Coast music more.
Mm.
I listened to a lot of Mobb Deep and yeah, the Cuff. I mean, you got hip hop, you got Bleed, you got the Cuff, you got Chuck T. Currently, you got Nate Curry. I'm sure you guys have heard of Nate Curry. When I was a kid, his dad was an artist in a group called The Cuff, and The Cuff was super popular. So to see Nate doing his thing is dope. There's a younger cat named Yums that's coming up. My younger brother C Plus is also an artist in Sacramento that's pretty dope. D-Rec. You got a lot of artists in Sacramento that are dope. A lot of talent, a lot of talent. But yeah, a lot of my influence comes from the East Coast, I would say, and like the Midwest. I just like sample beats more. And growing up, not a lot of producers out here was making sample beats like that. It was like cheap motif and Triton beats and you know what I mean? Sounds cool, but that just wasn't the sound I was going for, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I know too a lot of like rap is really influenced by like a lot of poetry and like talking about your life. Do you have any influences poetry wise, or like has that inspired you at all?
Not really. I would say maybe like, you know, I mean the stuff we grew up on, the Maya
Yeah.
Angelou and all of that, but for the most part it was artists. The first song I gravitated to as a child was there was a group called Audio 2 that had a song called Top Billin'. That's kind of what did it for me. I heard that and I was like, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there are some poets. I used to watch Def Poetry Jam when I was younger. There were some poets that definitely inspired me, but a lot of my inspiration comes from rap music as a whole, and
Yeah.
R&B and oldies. You know,
For sure.
we listen. We have like a lot of vinyl at the lab, so sometimes we just spend hours just listening to old music. You know, 70s, 60s, 80s. You know, even though the 80s drums are a little 70s drums hit, 80s drums are a little, I don't know. You know. Some of the 80s music is great. It's just on a lot of heavy drugs back then.
Yeah. Were you able to check out our vinyl collection back there then? We have like
Yeah,
tons of
y'all
it.
actually have like a dope library. Y'all still got cassettes in here,
Yeah.
CDs, vinyl, you know. Definitely. This is like a historic landmark at this point, you know.
For
Cuz a
sure.
lot of places have phased a lot of that stuff out. So to see it still be here is dope, you know.
Yeah. I know a lot of artists kind of have preferences as far as like performing live versus recording. Do you prefer performing live or recording for you?
I would say performing live. I just feel like you're able to connect with people better in that setting, you know. For some people, they probably would prefer the studio more. You're more chill. You ain't got to be in front of people. You can kind of open up and do your thing. But for me, I like to be able to connect with the people and you know, just put them on something they may not have been put on. That's what I like to do as a whole.
Right. Are you guys performing anywhere sometime soon that you can shout out, or are you
Yeah,
still
November
planning
4th will be at it's the Dreamland Festival, Yolo County Fairgrounds. They got La Russell, D-Lo's performing, Nefta Pharaoh, myself, Marcos 530. It should be a good time outdoors, you know. Might want to bring a sweater out. It's going to be November. But yeah, we'll be there all day. I'm not sure if it's all ages or not. I believe it is. I believe it's all ages, if I'm not mistaken. That? But yeah, November 4th, Yolo County Fairgrounds. Come check us out.
Yeah, they have to.
It's definitely. Yeah, we just did Harlow's with Jay Worthy in September. We had like an official Pack Bros weekend where we brought out the Mechanics and J-Stalin on Saturday night, and then we did me and Jay Worthy on Sunday, Labor Day weekend. So that was a good time, you know, and we just looking forward to putting more things together and connecting with the people in any way we can, you know.
Sure. I can imagine as an artist, like being on stage and feeling the crowd's energy is
Indeed,
super cool.
it's definitely it's definitely reciprocated. Sometimes it could be a bad thing, though. If
Yeah.
everybody's standing around and just being still, you might want to. I'll be like you sitting on the stool, just sitting there. But not for the most part. When we do shows, the energy is great, so it kind of pushes us to go harder in a certain area.
Yeah. Well, did you guys want to shout out like Instagram, Spotify, things like that, where people can
I'm
find
over
you
here
guys?
hogging the mic. I'm gonna pass this off. I'm gonna let them do
Cool.
their thing too. My name is Nash Boogie though. Instagram is NASHISMPIRE. Same on Twitter. All of the music is available on all streaming platforms. But if you want to get it directly from me, it's www.nashboogie.net. Tap in with us.
Yo, JC, you can follow me on Instagram at JCJCEE Productions. Producer, drummer, keyboard player, all around. So hit me up.
My name Nehemiah Johnson, NJ on the beats, NJ for short. You can find me on Instagram at Nehemiah E. Johnson. I'm on there. Producer, keyboard player, drummer, singer,
Do it all.
spiritual counselor. So that's what I am. All right, pass the mic to my brother.
How y'all doing? I'm Goldfingers. That's GOLDFINGAZ 916 on Instagram. And these are my brothers from another mother. You know what I'm saying? They all dope. Everybody got special gifts. They all do it all. So that's why I like working with these dudes. And yeah, man, just stay in touch with us. Follow us, Fireworks Productions. We got keys to the city. We got a few things going on. So y'all stay tuned, and thank you for having us.
For sure. We'll definitely have to stay tuned. Thank you guys so much.
Of course,
was
thanks for
awesome.
having us.
Of course. You guys were amazing. It was so nice meeting you.
Appreciate that, and likewise.
Awesome. Thank you.